started. What is going on? You are listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where you can also watch us on our YouTube channel. This is episode 739. I am your host, Steve B, alongside Cody Maurice Doggett. How the hell you doing, Cody?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing tonight?
I'm pretty good. And I say pretty good because tomorrow, and TMI or not, on a sex podcast, I'm getting my colonoscopy. Ugh. So no cocktails or wine for me tonight. I'm just drinking this awful liquid, sodium by something. I don't know what it is even, but it just helps flush everything out. But nice. Diego says, I'm told, because I will be out of it when I get out of it tomorrow, that I'll be cleaned out and ready to go. You can take full advantage of me, because you imagine there'll be nothing in my stomach.
Love it.
Because all day today I've just had liquids, and so it's a good way to get taken advantage of if you choose to.
A colonoscopy after the colonoscopy.
I know, but good reminder for everybody to get checked out and for all that good stuff. It's always good to keep abreast of your health. Some other good news that I'm happy about is that it seems as though PV is bouncing back. And I know this from news reports that school is back in session, that also from many of the people that I know that live there. A friend of mine who lives part-time there showed a whole video of the gym, and it was filled with queens. The streets were filled with gays walking around. The stores, the bodegas were filled with people buying fresh produce. It seems like everything is getting back, and that's really good news, because I think there was a lot of disinformation and fear, but the gays will always keep it going and keep it running. And I'm just really happy that PV is back up in such a, it was just the other day, Sunday, when all of that went down with the fires. And I'm sure you've heard about it already. But things are looking up. And I'm excited because I will be there in early April. So happy to be back and support the community.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Glad you're doing better.
Yeah, absolutely. They needed that, and I think that's really great news. So I'm super happy. Also, shout out to Rocco in Miami. I know Rocco from years back, but he works for, runs the restaurant Our House, chef extraordinaire, and he heard us talking about him and possibly going to Miami, and it is the home. You're a RuPaul Drag Race fan and lover like myself, and it is the home of Athena and Juicy, and he invited us to come out for brunch, so we might just have to take him up on that and get out there. But they're both doing great in the competition currently. Do you have a favorite out of those two?
I mean, I love them both. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay. I mean, they're both fierce competitors. And
yes, they are. Juicy is an amazing lip syncer, so I would really like to see Juicy at Our House. So hey girls.
Hey Rocco. Okay, well, we are going to get into our talk tonight, where it all stemmed from a Queer Tea article that came out. Let me read a little bit, then we'll talk about the article, all based on a tweet that went viral, and the gays had a lot to say. We're talking about something that stirred up the internet this week, an article from Queer Tea debating whether sex is easily obtainable in the gay community. Well, one viral comment compared being gay to turning on the sink. You turn the handle and water just comes out. In other words, sex is everywhere, it's abundant, it's effortless. But is it? That was the question. And I could read you a little bit more of the person that actually wrote that article and where this all stems from. It stems from Tyler Woodward, who has a pretty large, substantial following on X. And his other comment that he wrote was, an underrated perk of being a gay man is that sex is so easily obtainable 24/7 that it becomes easy to take off a pedestal. It almost like it's boring, or it's like, it just comes, and that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. We'll read a little bit more, or is sex really that easy for all of us, or is that just a narrative that applies to certain bodies, certain cities, certain moments in our lives? And if sex is easy, why does love feel so much harder? Because here's the thing: availability doesn't always equal intimacy, access doesn't always equal connection. And tonight or today, when you listen, we want to unpack this myth, this privilege, this stereotype, whatever you want to call it, and maybe even this truth. Is sex a perk of being gay, or is that faucet running for some and bone dry for others? That's
Ooh,
a really
girl.
interesting question
Yeah.
that we bring up. I mean, what do you think about this? The statement being gay is like turning on the sink and water just comes out. Is sex really that easy, Cody?
I can get sex pretty easily. I not everything. It's not 24/7, I would say, but I would say at least, uh, 8-6. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. It's pretty prevalent here. I think for me, I feel like sex is about, and this whole conversation is about proximity to gayness. If you live in East Bumblefuck out there in the sticks, of course it's not going to be as readily available. But we live in New York City. I can go on Grinder, on a Scruff, or on Scruff, and I will be able to see people in my vicinity, loads of guys in my vicinity
Mm-hmm.
that would be interested in me and that I would be interested in. So I feel like,
Okay.
yeah, for a lot of people, it is readily available, especially if you live in a metropolitan area. But for some people, it's not as easy. But if they lived in a more populous area, then it might be easier for them. What do you
Yeah, I
think?
think that's one of the things that people were talking about. If you live in some of the major cities, Chicago, San Francisco, New York, LA, and you're in it, you can really find it whether on the apps or just going out to the bars. It's that much easier. I mean,
Oh, I thought.
for,
Mm. I
well,
didn't even include
for,
the bars. If I go to a bar,
yeah,
I'm definitely.
well, it depends on the bars. So, like I go when we go out, we've talk about it all the time. The New York Eagle here, and it is a cruise bar, so it's already built into the bar situation. And it's my local bar. It's the bar I go to. So if you really want to find hookups, it's really that easy to just go into the dark room and play. And
Yeah.
sometimes you can take somebody home as well beyond all that, which is really great. But I do think if you live in a more rural area, like you were saying, it isn't as always easy. And so maybe that comment could come off a little flippant. And then when you talk about like the apps, how people are always turning away people and ghosting people if you don't quote unquote look a certain way, and it can probably feel a little challenging, and maybe that comment could rub people the wrong way, I think.
Oh, definitely. Um, I really do think that is a crux of it, but I think we should also mention that it might be easier for people who are more conventionally attractive. I feel
Yeah.
like there is a pretty privilege when it comes to hooking up because, yeah, I feel like there's a barrier. People have always been either more able to get sex, and it doesn't even have to do with their proximity to gayness or gay or straight, or it's just once you have like a charisma, and also like maybe it's not about a pretty privilege. It's about charisma. It's about confidence. There's so many factors that go into people being attracted to you. So for people that
Yeah.
are more attractive, quote unquote, conventionally, or more confident, it's going to be easier for them, just all in general.
Yes, we are live and we are in front of a live virtual audience. You can watch us live on, or you can watch us on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/tags podcast. Hello, Diego. Diego, if you wouldn't mind getting me a glass of water, please. I put it in your text, but um, hey, Doug, it's not that easy when you live in a small rural town. Yeah, that's what we were saying. Alan. Oh, Alan loves your music. That's really
I
good.
know.
So,
Thank you,
oh, I
Alan.
love
I put a
it.
little I feel loved emoji on there.
Oh,
Feel
very
loved.
cool. I
Yeah.
love it. Okay, yeah. See, oh, and I didn't see this. The cold freeze saved me from the colonoscopy. It says George watching us live.
What's the cold
Um,
freeze?
I don't know, but we are in a cold freeze here.
Oh, maybe he
Yeah.
got caught up in that blizzard and he didn't have to get his colonoscopy. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that could be.
Let us
Um,
in on
but
it.
thank you. But if sex is that easy, because it can be a lot easier. I mean, I've had a lot of my straight male friends say, oh my gosh, I wish I was gay. It would be so easy to hook up with somebody. And women, you have to wine and dine them. And even then, it's hard to get sex if you just want sex. I do think it's been built into, we were the ones that started cruising back in the day. But if sex is that easy, does love feel so much harder to obtain, Cody?
Definitely. I mean, uh, if you look at it, I feel like for just two people to connect on a basic level, if
Yeah.
am going to be around them for an hour, I was about to say 10 minutes, girl, it don't take me
Uh-huh,
no 10
right, see?
minutes. You're going
Yeah.
to be around them for an hour, or that's not a very significant amount of time to be able to get to know somebody or have to deal with them in any capacity. But the more you have to be around somebody, like say if you're in a relationship and you're with somebody for years on years on years, that means that you have to be more compatible as far as your personalities are concerned. I can go across the street and blow somebody's back out, and that will be make sure my aunt's not in here.
Right.
Blow somebody's back out, and then I don't have to see them ever again. So it's when you have to not endure someone, if you have to be in someone's presence for a long time, then you have to take all of these things into account about your compatibility. So yes, love is a lot harder to find, but it's just because you have to be more invested, you have to be more attuned. There's so much more components that go into a long-standing fruitful relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do a little round table, ask some questions here. When we first
Oh.
realized sex was more accessible in gay spaces, and for me, I would have to say it was more. I was like when I was a go-go dancer back in the day in San Francisco. I realized that backstage there was easier to meet men, easier. I was in scantily clad clothes. It was that much easier. But really, I think my first times going to Europe that I just realized there was dark rooms for every bar and not
Yeah.
just BDSM clubs and bars. It was actually bars that had, you can have a drink. It's like almost that movie that I was mentioning that you can watch for free on Tubi, Paris 559,
Oh yeah,
Theo and
that's right.
Hugo. The whole first 20 minutes of the movie is them in a sex club, but the whole first part of the place is the bar where you can get a cocktail and a drink. And I just think that's makes sense in our community. We've had bathhouses. That was the other time early on. I was in college, and my college buddy took me to a local bathhouse in Berkeley, of all places, Steamworks, where the other Steamworks lives, not just Chicago.
Ah.
And it's moved a couple times. And that was when I realized, oh, sex is really obtainable and around. And of course, at the time, it was also a scare factor, too, because condoms and the threat of getting AIDS and HIV was a
Mhm.
whole looming thing that we've talked about on the show before too. But when did you first realize it was so accessible?
Sex? Not until very, very recently, I don't feel like. I feel like I know, right? That's wild. I feel like for me, yes, I wanted to have sex. Yes, I had a healthy sex life, but I don't feel like my goal was to go out and have sex when I would go out. So I didn't really quote unquote look for it,
Right.
or it wasn't my main focus. So when I got out of my relationship, that was when I was like, I'm going balls to the wall. I was I don't know why I was so uh, erotically charged coming out of that relationship. But I'm telling you, if it's cute and it's walking and it takes it takes some dick, I am about it. I will, yeah. I'm very very erotically charged now. So yeah, I realized just maybe like 2 years ago, that sex was pretty easy for me to get. It was very, I can go on sniffies. I can go to. I didn't even like loop in bathhouses to the conversation. We have so
Yeah.
many outlets that we can go to and just have like a communal sexual experience. I know somebody that we both know just got back from a bathhouse experience. I'll tell you what about
Mm.
it offline. But
Okay.
hey, boo, how you doing?
Yeah,
Maybe we can get them
exactly.
on and so they can talk about it. But yeah, so once you loop all of those factors in, it's something
Yeah.
that really I feel for a lot of people, unless you're in a rural area, even if without pretty privilege or conventional attraction, I feel like it's a lot easier for gay men to do because you'll always be able to find somebody that's into what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah, and it's always the question, did sex, when you first realized it, you could get it, it was available, did it feel overwhelming or was it empowering? And I think it definitely felt overwhelming for quite a long time. And then
Mm.
things like for the Eagle, for me, where I really got into the culture and the darkroom experience, and my trips over to Europe, where it was just kind of part of usual business, right? People
Hmm.
didn't treat it like it was odd or any of that, and I think that made me feel empowered, and
Oh
I
yeah.
would make that a part of my evening, and I really enjoyed that, and so that is something, I think that we as gay men share. If we go back to the original statement, though, that it's really for those that it doesn't really feel, or that was just,
Hmm.
could you see it as sort of a flippant comment that that guy was maybe making to put that out there?
Oh, definitely. Especially if for those people that are feeling like they have an issue as far as not being found conventionally attractive. I feel like for those people, it could really bite them in a way. They could take it in a way that is not intended to be. I feel like maybe it's not even perception, but I feel like it's really something that could get under the skin of those kinds of people. I do think maybe he didn't think about what he was saying beforehand, but I do understand where they're coming from because it's not readily available to so many people.
Yeah, and it makes me think. Shout out to Vakaya because they do a really good job with their RLD, red light district, and even will do workshops leading up to all week long, whether it's on the cruise or on one of their like Mexico trips, where they teach people and empower people about sexuality and about all inclusiveness, and they create safe spaces for anybody to go and encourage people that it's okay just to look and hang out and visit the place, and they make it the space available on a otherwise normal vacation trip. And I think that that's really good that they make that space available to people that you know maybe people are coming from rural parts of the world and don't have that in their own city, but they're taking this 1 week trip, and you can experience things like the red light district. And I shout them out, and I love all the workshops. Shout out to Will of Tantric Fitness, who just taught a class for the last Fakai. He was telling me, I think he got over close, just shy of 200 people in his class, which was all about how to top in the red light district. I love that
Oh
title
wow.
for it, giving you the
Ooh.
tips and tools so that then you can go and all inclusively explore this. They talk a lot about consent too. And so if you're
Hmm.
not used to this, then they are making it so to counteract that comment that tweet came out kind of flippantly. This is when I shout out people like Vakaya for making it a lot more available and taking that stigma, and you don't have to look a certain way, and making it more inclusive. Well, I mentioned we were live, and Alan says, when I was younger and in the closet, it became clear how easy it was to get sex. It was coming out of the closet and trying to have a real relationship that was the big challenge. Yeah, that is kind of the opposing thing, is that sex is so built into us as gay men that I think a lot of us, made sex a part of our sexuality even before we didn't have examples for relationships, healthy relationships, and what that would actually look like. So, yeah,
Yeah.
and Will Tantra in Palm Springs. George asks, are we talking about Will Tantra? He's Tantric Fitness, but I don't think he lives in Palm Springs right now. I think I know who you might be talking about, though. And yes. So, yeah, what about relationships, Cody, and how much harder those are for some of us because maybe there's not a lot of examples?
Yeah, that's probably one of the main factors. Also, relationships are just really hard, and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to like dissuade anybody from having a relationship
No.
or anything like that. But I feel like they're not as sustainable as just going and having a one night stand with somebody. And a lot of people, especially the ones that are, I've met a lot of guys that don't even want a relationship. They just want to, focus on themselves, and they want to have uh, get their connection or their physicality as far as connecting with someone else is through the hookups, which is fine. And I applaud them for having that sense of self to where they know that that's what they want. So yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Uh, Doug, what is Doug saying? Will I move
Doug
on
is
here?
saying when I was visiting my brother to change his brakes and rotors, he said his grinder wouldn't stop blowing up. He was up to his elbows in grease and brake dust, but uh,
Oh,
get it, Doug. And you can, if I
yeah.
had a car, you can come change my brakes too.
Okay,
But
I like
yeah,
that.
that's hot.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is that easy sex often can apply to a certain body type. If you think of things like the apps, a certain age bracket, a certain zip code. We talked about cities, which leads to kind of the bigger question: is sex easy for gays actually a privilege conversation, Cody?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's I feel like when you're dealing with two men who are more sexual, I think in by nature, uh, that's just from my perspective. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist, but I think we're more socialized to be more confident when it comes to sex. So yeah, that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about that, but I do think it is a thing because we are two men that are coming together. So yes, I think it is a privilege that we have. I personally was talking to three guys on Grinder last night, and I had to choose one. I felt like Tyra Banks on the Tyra Banks show. I said I have one picture in my hand,
Oh my God, not that
and I'm
one
not
picture.
sorry.
Yeah. Who did you pick?
He lived close to me. That was the
Okay.
determining
Oh,
factor.
see? Proximity often in a snowstorm becomes the ideal
Did
choice.
not feel like
I do
walking
think
through the snow.
I do think those things that I mentioned, sex is easier, you know, with a certain body type, age bracket, zip code.
Yeah.
When it comes to the apps, for sure, I think those are limiting factors that sadly, I think maybe that's why that comment from the original tweet seemed a little bit flippant and not applicable to everybody. But I will say there are spaces, and I keep throwing in when I go to Europe that whenever I've gone to the dark rooms in various types of bars, there are a lot more different types of age ranges that I feel that commingle. And you'll see that within the dark rooms, which is very refreshing to me. When you go to BDSM clubs, not just here in New York Eagle, but San Francisco, LA, you'll see varying age groups, all types of body types. Bears are really included in that. And the dark room, you'll see a wide variety of people and activity. And I like that. I mentioned Vakaya, that is all inclusive, that creates a space that really gives almost, if you want those little nudges, those classes, you can take those. And I think there are examples that are really making sexuality a space for all of us within the community and not just for certain types. But I do think the apps can be a little bit limiting at times. And that
Yeah.
is just kind of that's why I've never really liked the apps that much. It's just never worked for me, but they work for a lot of other people. So, and sometimes that's
Yeah.
your
They
only
work for me.
choice, you know?
Yeah.
And so,
Um,
yeah, I just can't. For me, it's just like the endless scrolling. I can't. I can't.
it does take a certain
Oh,
type of
I
person
can't.
that's
Yeah.
attached to their phone all the time. But I just want to
Yes.
say one more thing about pretty privilege. I There are plenty of people out there that I well, first of all, I want to say there you I've said this on the show before. As a person out there trying to explore and look for people that are interested in you, you have to continually be on the lookout for people that are interested in you. You can't just go out there and expect for you to be everybody's type, be have you know be have everyone be attracted to you as a person. There are so many people out there, so many hot guys out there in the world that are not attracted to
Yeah.
me. But what I do is focus on the hot guys or the ones that I think are hot, that are interested in me, and that is how I have been able to be kind of successful when it comes to hooking up with people. So just make sure you're on the lookout for people that are on the lookout for you. Basically, yeah,
Yeah,
it boils
and
down to that.
I would end with like I've felt like sex was the easy part of it for a while there, but making lasting connections was harder to do. Like when I was actually looking for a relationship, but I was
Hmm.
able to combine the two. That's how I met Diego in the BDSM club, and now we're married, right? So it can happen for
Yeah,
sure. But I would love to do a poll. I don't know if you could create it.
I can. I love making
A quick
polls.
poll that would say, is sex easy, not easy, depends, or I'm more interested in love? Did you see that in our notes, Cody, too, that I put? If you could put a poll question.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I missed that one.
Oh, I'll just put it in your chat and then maybe you can create it based on that if you wouldn't mind.
Got you.
Um, those would be the things. Okay. Well, we will put our poll question up shortly. Let me know when that is ready.
The secret is out. With millions of younger looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
And I will get reading M. It's time to move on. Let's keep this conversation going because I'm really interested in how you feel about that original QWERTY tweet that went viral that kind of rubbed people the wrong way. But let's keep it going on our Tags Patreon community. Go to patreon.com/tags podcast and let's get into hot topics. Well, we had to talk about this because it was the BAFTAs over in across the pond when a disability activist was in the audience and yelled the N word during the BAFTAs ceremony on Sunday that the BBC edited out. They edited out a homophobic slur that was screamed by the same person to Alan Cumming. And in an interview, the man, Davidson, explained to Variety that during one segment, Cumming made a joke about taking Paddington Bear home with him, saying, "It wouldn't be the first time I have taken a hairy Peruvian bear home with me," which is very funny, actually, by Alan Cumming. This
Nice
resulted in
joke.
this resulted in homophobic tics from me and led to a shout of pedophile that was likely triggered because Paddington Bear is a children's character. Davidson said of his response to Cummings' lighthearted quip. He said if you know anything about tics, then you can't control what you're saying. And he was there because he was supposed to be there, right? Wasn't there
He was getting an award. He was being awarded for his documentary that highlighted Tourette syndrome.
Right. And so, you can't control. He did say the N word, though, to when Michael B. Jordan was up on stage, and one of the supporting actors of Sinners as
Delroy Lindo.
well. Yes. And that took them off guard for a second, but they kept going. They didn't blink an eye, but it was bleeped out, but not taken out completely. And all the other slurs, that the few others were towards other communities. But he feels, Davidson, who has Tourette's, really feels that they put such an emphasis on that N word, but that he actually said other slurs, and that the Baptists could have easily taken that out of that slur just like they did the other ones. What do you say to this?
Well, what in the Black History Month is going on over here?
Right.
Because I can't believe we screaming the
Apparently
N-word.
they don't celebrate it in the UK.
Apparently not. I can't believe this. We got the Obamas as apes. We got all the things that are going on that should not be going on in this month,
right.
number one. But I don't blame him. I think that, he has a neurological illness that is legitimate, and they knew this going in. They warned all of the people. They made sure that they took out the slurs of other marginalized communities, which I think is wild to me. It was a 2-hour delay. They could have very easily taken out the N-word from this. But I think that the BAFTAs and the BBC decided that, maybe Black people weren't worthy of being respected in this way. So I don't know what their thought process was, because when I heard it, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Did he just, that is something that I shouldn't, like, this emotionally hurt me through the television screen. The fact that these two men had to be on the stage and to hear this, regardless of the context, it's something that, it does harm. Words do harm people. So I think that the BAFTAs and the BBC has a lot of reckoning to come and do, because I feel like this is something that could have been avoided. They edited out the Free Palestine that the director said during the show. So how could they not edit this out as well? He was going through his tics the entire time. You see none of that, but you see this. It really makes me question the authenticity and the morals of the BBC and the BAFTAs.
Yeah, and that dozens and dozens of hundreds of people work on these shows too. That you're telling me nobody heard this, nobody could take that one out as well. It seems a little sketchy, and why that occurred. And but
he seems really above board.
Yeah, right. Okay.
He apologized to both those teams, but and both of those actors. So I really think that he's doing his due diligence. And you know what? I know this is going to be controversial, but it makes me look side-eye at Alan Cumming too, because for me, I do feel like this is something that kind of slipped past him. Like, maybe he didn't feel like it was that harmful, and he didn't even think to do it. Like, I know that he's not, like, in his heart of hearts, a racist person, because he's used his platform to highlight so many POC, people of color, and LGBTQ plus people. So I applaud him for that. But I think there's like a blind spot maybe that happened of how this,
I think what it was, he was the host of the show.
And maybe he didn't have his hands in it.
Well, I think he was the host of the show, and they had him read something about the person, this Davidson. What's his first name? We should get his first name here.
I thought David was his first
John
name.
Davidson.
Yeah.
John Davidson. They had him read something on a teleprompter. I could tell Alan was reading it, and he was talking about the remarks that he made. And so he was reading it off of it and giving a response in real time, and that this person didn't, mean that, and it's a disorder. And so I think he was also the host, and, he read what he was told to read, and you don't have a lot of, when you're in that shoes, you don't have a lot. I don't give him any side at all, because I know that's a difficult job to run that. He's not the producer of the show. He didn't say anything. It was something was said to him, actually, and he was merely explaining to the audience what had just occurred. Why would that get side eye?
Well, I don't know. I feel like if the harmful things that were said to him, they got cut out. But what
Oh, but
about
he
these
didn't know
two?
they were getting cut out because he was in the middle of the show.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm
All right.
saying?
But it
You're in
ended.
the middle of the
There
show,
was
you wouldn't know what's getting
he's not a
put
producer and he's
in.
not an editor. So I'm
Yeah.
going to leave it at that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and those
still.
comments he made was in during the show, so that's why I
Hmm?
think
Oh, he made a
you know
remark afterwards.
he made it during the production that
Hmm.
he talked for that John Davidson on. You may have heard some remarks. This person has Tourette's. Tourette's is an illness. They say things that they don't. And he was educating the audience, which I thought
Yeah.
was but he was reading it too. Like the producers did tell him to. So they did think to do that. They just didn't take that one out. And I hear what you're saying. So
Yes.
let's move on to let's move on to maybe other marginalized communities. When an article came out on The Advocate that says, how can PrEP use among Black people be improved? Well, the demographic suffers the highest rates of new HIV diagnoses, and it sees some of the lowest use of preventative medicine. Those stats are not really good. Black patients account for 42% of new HIV diagnoses in the US, despite making up just 13% of the country's population. So why is PrEP use so low? AIDS VU released findings in 2023 that showed Blacks represented only 14% of PrEP users. That varies somewhat by region. Regionally, Black people made up 48% of new HIV diagnoses in the South, but only 21% of PrEP users in the South. In the Midwest, Black people made up 48% of new HIV diagnoses, but only 12% of PrEP users, the study found. So I just go back to marginalized communities, Cody, and messaging that just doesn't get out to various communities. And maybe they're not, access to it as well. And insurance being not available, not everybody, I don't think the messaging is really getting out there. Mr. is we've had him on this show, the head of Mr., and you can get it for free. But if you look at where Mr. is available, it's in West Hollywood at clinics. It's often marketed on certain types of shows for the community, and I think they're doing a great job. But maybe it's not getting to actual Black communities and where Black gay people commune, where the messaging is getting lost.
Oh, definitely. I think that's the main component of it, that this is not being advertised properly to the Black community. I really feel like this should be an initiative that goes into lower income or the inner city or more urban areas, and especially those communities where people of Black experience, where they really are, and it's like grassroots and on the ground, and have people that are explaining it there. Because I feel like another thing that kind of came to my brain as we were discussing this is that a lot of Black people, and this is for me, from my perspective, is just like older Black people in general, they don't really trust doctors. They don't think, because of the whole Tuskegee thing where they were experimenting on Black people and things of that nature. That's a Black history lesson. So you guys are welcome.
Yeah. I'm Black History Man. Love it.
Exactly. So I feel like maybe that is a slight component as well. But I feel like maybe the grandmas are not out there throwing it around in a circle like the younger people are. But I really feel like the messaging needs to be clear and it needs to be pervasive in the Black community.
I agree with you. More grassroots, I think, would be good to the various communities than just commercials, because you'll see commercials all the time when you're watching certain program that feature people of color that they're targeting for things like Truvada or living with HIV. But what if you're not even watching those shows and it doesn't, not everyone's watching Drag Race. And so
that's what I was going to say.
And
that's when I see those commercials. I'm like, oh, it's Drag Race. Let me not watch this with my mama.
Right. But if they're not making it to certain parts of the South or where we were just reading, and where, I just think we need to do a better job to change those numbers, because there's no reason in today's age where anybody should be contracting HIV, because we are at a point now where we have for the most part, medication that can prevent it. And
Oh yeah.
and it's available for free by companies like Mister. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah.
Yep. For how much longer? Who knows in this
Who
administration?
knows? But for the time being, yeah, exactly. This was also horrifying when a gay influencer couple out of the UK was drugged and assaulted. And they just recently shared their horror story, because it did happen when they went to LA back in 2024. They went to dinner in West Hollywood and went to a bar afterwards. Didn't really name the bar, but we ordered one drink and then completely blacked out. The couple goes by, they have Instagram account that has more than 616,000 followers. They're married influencers Toby and Mikey Perryman Payne, known together as Toby's Home. And they share, like I said, when they went to this bar after dinner. I woke up in a completely strange place with a person I didn't recognize, and I had been completely stripped of all my clothes. Toby went on to explain that he soon realized he was surrounded by weapons, but did not elaborate on exactly what he saw. Toby and Mikey have since gone on holiday again. They took a really long break, Cody, of doing
Mm-hmm.
any travel, of going out, because they lived in fear that this could happen to them. They have
Oh
since
wow.
empowered themselves and now want to speak about it for their huge audience. And I think it's good that they do. And
Yeah.
I just heard that Lisa Rinna, who has a new book out, just claimed that she was roofied, and
Oh
people
wow.
couldn't verify that. I feel like I was roofied once too. You have to really be careful with your drinks. And I have a friend, she, shout out to Donna, she teaches self-defense. And her and I went out once here in New York. She was visiting, and she said, "Do not just leave your drink out open like
Yeah.
that. Always put your hand over it. Always keep your eye on it." And sadly, you have to really believe that truth.
Yeah, and you really have to go out with people that you trust. I feel like the more
Yeah,
people that you have in your circle that you can actually trust, that will take care of you and that see if something strange is going on with you, they will have your back and they'll be able to defend you. It's really kind of a shame that both of these husbands got dosed at the same time. It seems like something that was done purposefully, and yeah, it's really scary. I always watch my drink because I was raised by a party gal, and she was
uh,
like, "Never leave, never leave your drink alone. Never do this or that." She told me all the ropes very early on. So, and that stayed with me through my party board days. So, which are
yeah.
still
Just
going
be
on, by the way.
smart about all that. Think a little street about that as well. By the way, our poll is up from our original conversation, and
Yes.
it is getting sex easy? Yup, at as 1, 2, 3. Okay, Gloria, that's winning right now. Number 2, maybe if the mood is right. Nope, it's tough. And we will continue this on our Tags Patreon community, patreon.com/Tags podcast all week. And let's keep this conversation moving on that. I did want to make a couple more announcements. Gay Days in Orlando is back, and there was a whole story that it was canceled and they couldn't get basically secure any spots. Well, they have said that it's going to be bigger and better and a whole new plan. It will run June 4th through 8th, and that made a lot of people very happy. They wrote, "What is Gay Days? It's so much more than a pool party. It's a full celebration of community culture and unapologetic pride, world-class DJs from across the globe, drag bingo that keeps you laughing all night, adult film star bingo, unforgettable and unfiltered," and there's a lot more. So good news for people that were planning on going. It sounds like it's redesigned, reformatted, and coming back strong. And
Nice.
if you are a fan of true crime, I highly recommend one that I just saw. It is called let me get the name of this. Oh my gosh, I just had it. I hate when I do this. It's called Murder in Glitterball City. It is
Yes.
produced by Fenton Bailey of Drag Race, maybe a little show you might know.
Oh, I
And the
definitely know.
documentary dives deep into the he said story of a murder that rattled old Louisville, featuring a gay couple whose tale is as gory as it is fascinating. This is a queer true crime, and it's messy, raw, and unapologetically real. It's a two-parter, Cody, and I watched it on HBO Max, and ooh, it's gritty on how they
It looks
meet.
good.
Yeah, this isn't giving away too much, but they essentially murder somebody, and it's all about who did it really and who forced somebody to do it, and dives deep into the third, sadly, the one that they murder, and just he was in their basement for 6 months. I mean,
Oh my
there,
goodness. I'm not even a
yeah.
true crime person, and this looks really good. I just watched the trailer, and you don't know who did it until I feel like the
You
very
don't know
end,
you
because
also learn a lot about Louisville, Kentucky, about this one particular area that of
that's
these
true.
old homes that are, some say, are haunted, and that it's a whole thing of, I don't know, white upper crust and looking a certain way. And I don't, you kind of get into it. I love true crime. I mean, I can deep dive into that. I have to watch it when Diego's not around. Like, he doesn't really
He
like it.
doesn't
So
really like it.
he
He'd
doesn't
rather
really
watch
like any of those.
HGTV.
So. Yeah,
HGTV is what he
exactly.
like.
Too funny. Okay, well, we love giving advice, and let's give some right now. Well, this comes from Reddit, and you can always ask us for sex or relationship advice. This one on Reddit said, dating question: is it important to date multiple people to fairly evaluate the one? How to do so without burning out? They wrote, so I have been seeing this guy for a few weeks and I like him, but there are some questions about whether our lifestyle makes us a good fit or not. I have an intuition that my concerns will be laid to rest, or the opposite if I got to know another guy or two. Also, I'm a little concerned I'm emotionally going all in too fast, and talking to a couple others may be grounding influence. I just say, listen to yourself on this one. My
Yeah.
God, there is no reason why you have to jump into any relationship at any point in time. You can always change your mind. And I think if you're second guessing that, put the brakes. If you notice something about yourself, you say that, I tend to jump into things quickly. That's probably true. And you could even tell this person, I need to take this a little bit slower. You don't have to tell them you're going to go on all these dates. Just tell them you need a little breathing moment. If they really like you, they will give you that breathing space. What do you say to this?
I totally agree with you. I think that, you know what, if you feel like you need to take some space for yourself, take some space for yourself, because like you said, trust your gut. If your gut is telling you that there are things about this person that might not be compatible with you,
Yeah.
then listen to it, explore a little bit more. Then, you know what, your gut might tell you something else. It might tell you that you are compatible with this person a little bit further down the line. But right now, when you're not sure, don't jump into anything that you're not sure about. It's a lifelong commitment, quote unquote, and
Yeah.
you shouldn't go into it lightly.
Yeah, and get to know a few more people. If you're already asking that question, like, you should also,
Yeah.
I feel, know if it's the one or not. And if you're feeling, oh, maybe there's a few other people, it might seem like the grass is always greener, but that's okay. I think listen to your gut, like we said, go on a few more dates. Hopefully that person will understand and let you have that space so you can, figure out who is the right
Yeah.
person for you and
Any
make that right
recommendations on
decision.
how they can not burn out on that?
What's that? Do I have any recommendations on how
On
burning out?
burnout as far as dating multiple people is concerned.
I think that, you know, strategically finding a few more dates just to kind of see how you interact. And it sounds like this person just needs a little bit more time, and
Mm,
they're feeling a little overwhelmed. And so I just feel like, you know, pump the brakes a little bit on this. And
okay.
yeah, would be my
Love it.
recommendation on that. Yeah. I think we have time for one more. And this one I loved because we were talking about dark rooms earlier. This one asked the question, glory hole etiquette. I recently discovered adult theaters and video booths near my hometown, and I'm hooked. I've actually never done anything with glory holes until now. Is there some sort of etiquette when you're about to come? The places I go to are pretty loud with all the videos, so you can't hear shit. Today I blew a load and didn't even think about warning the guy. Whoops. After I did, I thought, damn, I should have knocked on the wall or something. Somebody wrote in the comments that I had to read. I think the only etiquette at a glory hole is no teeth.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Watch those teeth. I don't think there is in that, because I think if your glory holes are down and dirty, and I think, and in a good way, I don't mean to raise eyebrows by any of that, but they're down and dirty. And I think you often can't even you can't see the person. All you're seeing is that dick that you're going to devour, hopefully. And so I think I don't think there's a lot of conversation going on that you could even hear, because there's a board between, and there is no, let's meet, let's do this, I don't do this, oh, by the way, I'm on prep, and there is not that. And so I think you need to take care of yourself for safety reasons. Either have that Doxy Pep ready to go if you're going regularly, and maybe if you're going to take the load, I don't know, don't swallow. I mean, I don't think there is any etiquette, though.
I agree with you 100%.
Is a good one, though.
I agree with you. I feel like there's only so many rules when you go into a communal sexual space, like a glory hole moment, like a backroom moment. I feel like there's consent, but I think once you put your mouth around the hole, I think that is consent to suck on a dick.
Floodgates are open.
And I think that once you go there, I think the poster was really concerned about whether or not he should have came in his mouth. I think that's, again, par for the course. If you go to suck a dick at a glory hole, you should probably expect to come in your mouth. So if they went there without that, then I don't know what to tell them. And I could give them some good advice about being realistic with their expectations. But yeah, I don't think there's a lot of rules when it comes to this. I think that if you go there, you know what you're getting into, and you should expect what you expect. And then if you feel like there's something that happened that you did not expect, then you know what, go over those things with yourself and revisit how you can avoid it in the future.
Yeah, but good inquiry, but I think you're safe, and it is what it is.
He probably really liked you coming in his mouth. I've found a lot of guys do like that.
Bryce has a couple things to say on this one. Hi, Bryce. He says, what if the dick is not appetizing? What is the protocol for saying no? Well, okay, that's an easy one. If you can go to any glory hole, and if somebody sticks their dick through, you're not bound to then suck that dick. I mean, it's not like you're trapped and locked in there, and this is what you get. And no, you can just look at it and move on to hopefully a better glory hole with a better option of dicks.
It's not glory jail.
Yeah, it's not glory jail. But Bryce also said something about our last discussion or advice where the guy was wondering about, should he date a few more people? Because he dives in quickly. Bryce wrote, sounds like this person is non-committal and believes the grass is always greener, getting to know multiple people at once. What is this, Inspector Gadget? I mean, I think you want to know. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And and I think he was honest for questioning that. He does dive in quickly, and maybe he doesn't want to do that this time around. And if this guy really is special, he'll know. So anyways, it's time for Thirst Trap. It's back, and Straight Up Gay Porn is asking the question. I will post this on tags, our Patreon community. Which one of these 14 gay porn stars took the best not suitable photo of the week? So 14, it's our job on an audio podcast to vividly describe why we chose the one we did. Who did you pick and why, Cody?
First of all, they're all really hot. I feel like this is
Yeah.
one of the best weeks I've seen in a long time. Ty Santana is so hot.
Con
Freaking Nick
Horror
Mask
showing
is
that
well.
ass.
That's who I'm voting for because he's showing that ass.
I
he
mean, yeah.
Con Horror is one of my Twitter crushes. He is in this picture completely butt naked. He's on a bed. There's no pictures on the wall, so I don't know if it's his house or not. He probably needs some redecorating advice, but I can help him with that. I'm more than willing. He's taking a mirror selfie with his ass just fully in the air. His balls are
Look at
hanging
that
over the edge of
ass.
the bed. Man, it is just glorious. I want to stick my face in this ass. He's got tats all over his back, and he's got a nice little mullet going on too, which I think is so hot. So yeah, Conhor definitely gets my vote this week.
The mullet is making its way into 2026. I see the
Woof.
newer version. I picked Hung Jake, and because the name says it all, but it's slicked up. He's lying back on a bed, looking very comfy with a very sexy mustache, a cap, looking to the side. He's really ripped. I looked at a lot of his other pictures too. He's like super ripped, but this huge, thick cock. He's very also showing his feet, which I always like, and I notice he does that a lot on his account, and so that's really nice. And yeah, it just looks like it's slicked up and ready to go. So he gets my pick. And who are people saying?
People are saying Ty Santana for me, please. Ty Santana is really hot.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh my
gosh. Bryce needs a VPN for straight up gay porn.
That is so funny. Where are you again, Bryce?
Oh my gosh.
Alan says Con Horror, love that ass. Yeah, that's a good one.
Looks like Diego messaged me. It's so thick and juicy too. Woof. Hung Jake is totally your type. I am
right
over here.
Is there somebody called Deep? Because it looks like
Deep Dick goes by Deep Dick. He's close to the end. I think he's the very last one. Yeah.
That's Diego just messaged me.
You know what? He's in the lead, and I am wondering why. This picture is so fuzzy. It's just him with his dick out, and I am not impressed at all. Like, he's a hot guy. Well, I get that.
Well, it's Deep Dick 10x7. Which after my colonoscopy,
Diego on
for that.
You'll be able to take this one and the other one at the same time.
Bring them all.
Bring them all. I can set that up on Sniffies if you really want me to.
About noon tomorrow will be about the right time.
Got it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, we could do this all night, but I've got to take another dose of my prep juice for my colonoscopy tomorrow, exactly at 10. I know it'll be good. Get your health checked. It's always important. You can always follow my co-host Cody on the gram and on Blue Sky at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. Don't forget to head over to our Patreon community, our Tags Patreon community, where you can grab a free account or you can grab a paid account. And we really appreciate your supporting our show. Go to patreon.com/Tags Podcast. The conversation continues over there all week long. You can take the poll. You can watch us. You get the link. So head over to there. And thanks, live virtual audience. Appreciated, Alan. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex, everybody. Lovely.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.